So now we are in the Utiel-Requena region of Spain that is famously known for bulk red wines. So we have kind of the exception to the rule here with this Bobal from Estenas. Yeah, Estenas. Bobal from Estenas. There we go. It's a little early today to be drinking the wine, so I just have a little bit. But yeah, so Bobal is actually the third most planted grape in Spain, and it is not talked about very much because generally it's used as like a filler grape in some of like the really inexpensive wines that you get out there. But it's a bit of a bummer because it is a delicious grape, so it's really exciting to have a very complex and also very inexpensive version of it here with their Bobal. So the color on it is super dark. Again, I only have a little bit. It's 11:30. All right, it's like lunch wine at this point. So the color on it is quite dark, but the body on it is actually very light. So you can imagine that sometimes they're using this to add color and like lighter body to blends that they're doing in Spain. But by itself, it's also delicious. So on the nose, oh man, it's very berry forward. It's funny because it kind of smells dark, and dark in that it's dark fruit, like darker flowers like violets. And something I should also mention is that like it's typical that the Bobals will end up being really heavy, or at least like not very fresh, because it's in like a relatively warm region. They'll leave the grapes on the vines for a long time. So we'll talk about that in a minute because this is an exception to that as well. But yeah, so just dark. It's also got like some like earthy characteristics to it. Like it's not dusty. It's kind of wet. It's like, I don't know, forest floor, something like that. So let's try it. All right. So yeah, I would definitely say it's still earthy, but it's got a ton of berries here too. So I would say like it's more in the berries. I mean, like, I guess, is cherry also a berry? I think it is, but more in like the blackberries and like blueberries than like towards there is cherry in there for sure, very dark cherry. But I definitely feel like it's very berry forward. It's like a berry that you found on the forest floor. That makes sense. Like I feel like that's like a really good combination of what's in there. But what you should know is that it's like still got like the body's very light. Even though it looks like it could be a really dark, heavy wine, it is not heavy on the palate. And it's got like bright acidity, which is honestly fairly rare to find in these Bobals. So it's really nice to see that here. So let's try it once more, and then yeah, it's like almost a little bit crunchy too. It's like a crunchy forest floor with all these berries on it. So and maybe a little bit of minerality too, I'm now seeing at the end. Not like salinity or anything, but just some kind of rock. Also, again, mixed in that forest floor, a boulder, if you will. So for the price, I would say that this is definitely more complex than what you would expect. But this guy is an expert Bobal maker in this region where he has a lot of production. So that, is our benefit here. So as far as pairings go, we're talking about, a dark fruited light red. So you could put it with meats, but I would not put it with like heavy, thick meats. Like you can put it with pork. You could maybe even put it with like, what this would be good with, like beef stroganoff. Like if you're going for wintertime pastas, well, not pastas, I don't know. If you go the Russian way, I guess, of pastas, like I wouldn't put this with fettuccine or anything like that. But beef stroganoff, I feel like could be good with mushrooms. Oh man, this would be so good with mushrooms. Again, we're talking about forest floor here. So just going down the path of what are you going to find there? Like mushroom risotto, maybe some like squash. Yeah, veggies, especially like if you put veggies on the grill, that would be great here because of all the darkness. And yeah, like you could do, there's a lot of options as you can tell. You could do poultry too. You could save this and put it with some turkey. Not the perfect pairing for that, but would work with a lot of stuff you'd have at Thanksgiving too. So yeah, just a really lovely light red. I don't know, I think the ABV is higher. Yeah, so it's 14.5. So it's a little sneaky on that part. Just note that when you're trying it, that, you know, it's smells like it's going to be heavy, tastes like it's light, but the alcohol is higher. So just note that and put it with something. maybe towards the end of the meal. Share it with your friends. So enjoy.